Okay, today we're going to do part 2 of Grandma Teppo's shortcuts for cutting out patterns. That was number 1, and we cut out an apron pattern. Butterick B5506, we cut out this pattern. So now I'm going to show you how to sew it and some little tips, little things that I do that I did not learn in sewing class. So first of all, because I usually have many projects I'm doing, I will tape my pattern up. Or on number C, you have to, these are your instructions. So you find the view, this is view C that we cut out. So you find view C on how to make it. See, there's A, and right here's view apron C. So we can, and then I just use a little piece of tape, and then I have to worry about my instructions getting lost. So the very first thing we have is 5/8 narrow hem on upper edge of pocket 7. This is pocket 7. And this has some little dots. I'm probably not going to copy those dots because I can remember them. But if you need to copy them, you can, and I will be showing you how to do that in just a sec. Because this is an apron, it doesn't have to be exact. For me, that's about 5/8 seam. This little thing right here is a cutter, so I can cut the end off. And I don't have my trash can. Okay, the next step is it says to fold it, because we're going to put it on number 8. Here's number 8. This is one of my little things I do that's probably not correct, but I do it because it's faster. Okay, it looks like we cut out size large. There's a big dot right there. There is a big dot right there. And I make these very small because they're just to show you where you're gonna put stuff. Okay, here's a dot right here, a stitching line. Okay, a dotted line. That just kind of gives me a marker. So I think I got all the dots. Ooh, this one's not labeled small, medium, or large, so that must be one that we need. Is there one on the other side? When you do that like I just did it, you want to make sure that your pattern's on there. A lot of times I'll do it before I take the pins out. The pins help you hold it. Okay, so this is good to go. Now see, I know about this. Pin pocket to pocket 8, matching symbols, edges, toppings. This shows this. See, there's your teeny dot and your big dot. Remember there's a big dot and a little dot on here? I match those two dots up. And then, this is one of those things if you want to do it, you can. This is just a pocket. You can make it a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. So, there's your dot. Oops, the dot's down. So I just folded it instead of doing all that fancy stuff because it saves time. Okay, now here I'm going to go back stitch. It is a pocket and I don't want it to come undone. And I'm also going to be using a small stitch because pockets get used and it could come apart if it was a basting stitch or... Let's see, now I folded that corner. Go down into the corner, leave your needle end, turn your fabric. Then I'm going to fold this side too. So everything's folded. Whoops, the dot.
What's that thing you're doing on the back of the machine?
Oh, this picks this up and drops it down. this pressure foot. That's what holds your fabric. If this is up, it won't sew right. But it holds the fabric and makes it where the stitching's supposed to go. Okay, now when you get back up here, make sure you go backwards. That'll keep your pocket there. Okay, and then, because I forget to cut off threads unless I do it as I go, you're going to want to cut those little pieces off. Okay, now we're down to here, number 9. And I actually, before we started the video, I put these patterns in order of number so that I wouldn't have to be looking through the patterns. Now here's a big dot. So I want to copy that big dot. There's another funny line right here. So I'm going to make a couple little things to let me know where that funny line is. Now these lines, well actually there's another line, a funny line. It's a bigger line. We'll just leave this pattern piece out so we can refer to it. Okay, and we're gonna, that's what that looks like. This shows light or white for your wrong side. This is your, if you go like this is your right side, this is your wrong side. You want your wrong side on the inside. The right side's the side that's going to show. So here they're showing you making another little seam along this edge. Just make sure that, see, after you sew it, it's going to look like that. Now if you did it the wrong way, you're going to have your wrong side show as your hem. Easy to pin it and check if you're don't think it's right. Now here's one of the little things I'm going to do. I'm going to lift this up, take my needle out, and I'm just going to pull the thread very carefully. I do a lot of sewing and this actually saves me thread. You just have to be very careful when you start that you're not sewing this. And I actually probably save 10 spools of thread a year because I do so much sewing. Always keep your fingers out of the way. It's better to make a screwed up line than to sew your finger. I've never sewed my finger. If there's a lot going on, then don't sew. Because when I was in school, I saw somebody sew their finger, and I decided I did not want that to happen. So right here, you're going to cut the string right off the pocket edge. And if this got left, this is probably just going to be inside somewhere, but we will cut it off too. Okay, so now we've got this piece. That kind of looks like an apron, doesn't it not? Okay, now we're all the way up here. It looks like this one edge is, okay. We're going to have to take this off. You can't always, every time, save your... Now let's see where... It's going to be folded on this edge. Okay, and then it goes right here, like this. Okay, pin pocket 9 to pocket 8, matching symbols, base, center, front edge of place, and raw edges together. So there's a dot. So that dot and that dot match. Okay, I am actually going to just pin this on. If you're a beginner, you do want to baste it around. They're basting right here, and right here, and right here. But to me, I'm going to sew a top stitch on this in a few minutes down here. So that's going to save me some thread. And now I'm going to flip this over. Another hem. And it looks like we're catching... Okay, where is that? This might be on here wrong. Does it look the same? It doesn't look the same. What looks different? There's the big part, but this part is a lot. I wonder if that's supposed to be folded. It didn't say to fold it. You see what I mean? This part's a lot narrower. But it looks like it's going to the middle of the thing. And this is an apron. If I do it wrong, I'm the only one that's going to know that it's wrong. But you know what? If we look on this is the second pattern. We can see what else they do and see if there's any reason we can't have that big. Nope, there is not any reason whatsoever. But it looks like when we make that seam, we want to make sure we catch that in. See, I noticed on here it doesn't show that, and then here it's smaller. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't messing it up. Make sure I've got the top. Yeah, the pocket right here. So I do have the top. That's what we're sewing. Okay, now I'm holding this together, making sure that that is getting folded together. And make sure you don't ever sew on top of your pins. Then you get to have the fun of changing your needle, and they're not cheap anymore. Okay, now we're all the way down to, okay, we just did that. This we're going to do the same exact way as this other pocket and do it when we're sewing it on. Okay, now we're going to get out number 10.
Okay.